Welcome to the Week 4 Yukon Nintendo Club Pokemon Draft League Silver Division recap. This week, we have Gabe versus Medi. Gabe, a veteran player with us since Season 1, I believe. Always a mainstay. Always picking Blastoise, basically. And Medi, a new player with a very interesting team, a very cool team, and a lot of cool strategies they've shown off so far this season. With me here today is Ken.
Hello. I'm interested this week. This week was one of my favorite ones. Just because of the amount of creativity and amount of funny shenanigans you can pull off with the wheel.
Yeah, this was, oh yeah, why don't you tell them what the wheel deal is?
It's like almost any ability, but the pool of abilities you can draw from are based on what your team has.
Yep.
It's like if you have a Lando T, you can give that Intimidate to like your Reuniclus here. But since you only have one Intimidate on your team, you can't just run 6 Mons with Intimidate.
That's right. Unless you have 6 Mons with Intimidate, in which case you can and reshuffle the Intimidates, but it's like a budgeting thing.
It's like a pool of all of your abilities and they get reshuffled.
Exactly. A small handful are banned. Not many. I didn't have to ban that many, thankfully. Just have too many broken abilities. And they're not even banned, but you just can't share them onto other stuff, like adaptability. Yeah. And like huge power. There's like 1 or 2 others.
Wonder Guard.
I didn't have to write that, thankfully, because nobody picked Shedinja. Yeah.
Did anyone have adaptability? Did we ban adaptability?
It's banned, because Loon had it with Basculin, and somebody else had it on something, or maybe it was just Loon. I don't remember. But yeah, adaptability went, and then I think Protean or whatever, Libero technically, because somebody had a Raboot. Yeah.
Also, huge power arena trap.
Yep, yeah, because somebody's making them all. Anyhow, and then the mini wheel for this week, very simple, was just hazards that you couldn't run. Any of the hazard moves that lay them down, like Stealth Rock Spikes, any of those you can't run, and then you can't run Defog or Rabbit Spin either. Boots were allowed, though. Magic Coat's allowed, so there's some options, but yeah. A lot of people just seem to gladly embrace not using hazards, which is probably fine, but that's why it's a mini wheel format. They're not supposed to be the hardest choices ever. Alright, so we'll get right into this one. I'm going to switch sides. I want to see from Eddie's perspective, because I was watching from the other perspective earlier. All right. Battle begins. Substrike come out, a fine lead.
Nice horse.
Good fast. There's not really a lot of electric resistance on this team. We see Sirfetch'd, very nice. Trace the Serene Grace. I really like the Trace lead from Gabe, a good way to get a sense for the, abilities. We see First Impression come out with a nice crit. Very good.
I really do like the Trace here, bringing that this week to try and figure out what abilities your opponent has.
Yeah, it's not like Zebstrike is much better to run looking at Gabe's abilities, so I think it made sense. The crit's really nice from Sirfetch'd. It makes me suspect it might be running a leak, since that's just an item it gets access to where it gets like basically a coin flip for crits. So, Gabe also got the crit though as recompense, which was nice. Blossom comes into his Scald, takes it beautifully, because why wouldn't it? Gabe does have access to Sap Sipper on the Blastoise from Zebstrika, so maybe he has that, but judging by him switching, that's not what he's running.
Interesting ability on the Cobalion. I'm not sure.
Psychic Surge? Yeah, that makes sense, because I can't... Gabe's abilities, looking at them, they're not really that strong overall. So I understand why you might do that, to try and get some support for Mega Alakazam and Indeedee, who probably have other abilities they're using.
I would have thrown it on Alakazam, just slap it in there, get Expanding Forces going.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I think if I had to guess, maybe they put Sheer Force on it, or I don't know what else. Yeah. Probably just Sheer Force. So you see the Swords Dance and the Sunny Day come up from Blossom. Very interesting to get the Sun Sleep. Sunny Day is always pretty normal, but Swords Dance not something you usually see. And I totally forget this thing was Drain Punch along with Vileplume. So a very nice heal, very big there for Medi. Very nice. The Cobalion is basically dead. Even though it gets some damage back with close combat. It's funny that Poliwrath didn't get Drain Punch for 7 generations, but Blossom and Vileplume had him since day 1.
Look at those hands. Those hands are meant for Drain Punching.
That's right. Come here, I'm gonna fucking punch your face. God damn it.
Poliwrath's big fisty gloves. No,
they can't do it. He will not drain.
He needs the stubby arms.
I guess they were more focused on the drain than the punch. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Whooper, Ghastly learns. We've been over this. The nice trace comes out for Chlorophyll, really good here. Obviously, just to copy the speed doubling, right? Make sure you're faster and just take care of that. Only one turn left of sun anyway, right? But you basically had to have somebody take a really big hit that they probably couldn't live because nothing here eats a Solar Blade, right? So yeah. Probably, assuming no Sap Sippers. And what ability was the Blossom? Chlorophyll? Okay, I'm just trying to get a sense for Medi's abilities.
Yeah.
The Sirfetch'd we know is Serene Grace. I don't know what this Runiclus is. It might just keep Magic Guard or whatever. I guess we'll see. Volt Switch, fair enough. Get it out of there. We see Indeedee coming. Pretty nice switching. I don't think Runiclus is anything that hits Indeedee too hard. Psychic does some decent damage, though, even if it's resisted. Probably a good thing it's bulkier. Indeedee was brought here, not the male one.
Yep.
Let's see. We see a Calm Mind come out.
We see Calm Mind.
Pretty scary if you're Medi. And unfortunately, a Shadow Ball, maybe a predicted switch, but maybe just a misunderstanding that Indeedee is part normal, or that normal is immune to Ghost.
Holy shit. So for Dance Indeedee.
Yup. Basically, we see the speed boost, right? Very nice, lifted from Whirlipede, I believe. So that's basically Quiver Dance, like you said, yeah. Focus Blast, miss, heartbreaking, but also not entirely sure it matters, because once again, part Psychic, so +2 defense, that's probably not going to be an OKO or anything, right? Yeah, but I think the reason Medi's not losing any sleep at night is because they've got Sirfetch'd in the back. We see Oricorio come in. Interesting switch, though. Ghost not resisting Psychic, not really the best in the world, especially it's part normal.
And
maybe it was a deliberate sack on his part, though. Meloetta may have been able to take those hits better, but hard to say exactly the motive. I guess there's maybe they just wanted the sack, right? Because maybe they're like, well, Meloetta just gets hyper voiced, and I want to save that for later. But I don't know.
Yeah.
We see Sirfetch'd come out though, right? He's got the pressure on with First Impression. I wonder what that Oricorio's ability was. We see the First Impression come out. I would bet. From Quacklin, the Chad Duck. I love Sirfetch'd. Nice crit. That's got to be Leak, I'm going to say.
Gotta be Leak.
We leaking. We see Runiclus come into the Blastoise. Let's see what Blastoise can go for. Maybe a pivoting move. No, just goes for the Scald, but that's decent damage.
I did post their sets. I actually want to pull those up.
Sure. Signal Beam, very nice for Blastoise. Very nice, super effective. A lot of Psychics in this game. I just realized there's like 2 Psychics on both sides. That's why we're seeing so much bug coverage. Let's see, nice Psychic. Blastoise faster though, so it gets the nice flip turn. Torrent. Oh, it's not Torrent boosted. I guess that's a matter of habit. Sorry. It's we don't know what that Blastoise is, but yeah.
That Blastoise is Lightning Rod. Okay.
Oh, that makes sense for the Rotom Heat that didn't come. Yeah. Well, a good prep move, but yeah, not really too useful in this game. We see the Zeb Strike Sirfetch'd again. Sirfetch'd, I'd imagine, is just going to get the First Impression to try and clear the wave. This is really getting high pressure with the First Impression, especially with Cobalion dead, to not make Psychic Surge, because First Impression is a free kill on everybody. So it's just, that is big.
Especially with all those crits.
Yeah, the crits too, unlivable, but like even without it, I don't think anybody here would be living. Maybe Indeedee. So yeah, that's where the crit comes in handy. We see Zebstrika come back. Maybe Sirfetch'd could live a move from this thing, because Zebstrika's not really a strong special attacker. But it comes up with a Z move, so I guess it certainly could. Meloetta, I imagine, will take that pretty decently. Let's have a look, because its special defense is so high. Yep, takes that pretty damn well for a Z move. We'll see what comes out. Maybe he goes Pierrette, maybe just more a defensive thing. Pierrette is tempting here, right, because it lets you out Speed Weavile.
Yeah.
Indeedee comes in. Close combat, which does... Ooh, that was... You never want a close combat with Meloetta, I'm going to say, before you go Pirouette, right? Like, there's never a reason to do that, really. I mean, maybe if there's, like, they're going to hit you with, like, a flying move or something weird like that, but, like, generally, you want to go for the... you got to do the transformation first. That was really a waste. That was really a waste. Because if they did Relic Song first, that close combat would probably have taken that thing clean out. That is too... That's the first big misplay for Medi. The Oricorio is kind of like a... I can kind of see why you might do that, but that was something where it was like, unfortunate.
Maybe predicting like a hyper voice.
Yeah, exactly, or just getting rid of it if it was dead weight in the matchup. I don't know, but like, that was unfortunate. But we see Sirfetch'd come back. The pressure's still on. That's still a free kill. I think Gabe just cutting his losses, realizing Zam is not going to be able to do much even with sheer force if Celesteela is on the field, and just sacks it, which I think is fair. And yeah, critical hit crit mattered. Ken, you saw it. I saw it. Definitely
I
mattered.
don't know. Gabe could have gotten off those sheer force boosted fire punches.
Exact. Thank
You
you.
know?
Thank you. Yes. Alakazam with its 4 defense stat will definitely live a 90 VP bug move. Let's see. Celesteela actually though does take that Thunderbolt quite nicely. I kind of agree. I see the point of the switch in there, right? Because Sirfetch'd first impressions of the day to kill, and even if you're not winning at this point, getting free kills is very nice for differential. So I get switching Sirfetch'd back to get another first impression guaranteed kill. Yep, we see Indeedee come in. What will Celesteela do? Leech Seed, Heavy Slam, what are we going to have? We see a Leech Seed. Oh, a miss! Unfortunate.
Leech Seed miss. Yep.
The Focus Blast miss was kind of irrelevant, I'll say, but that miss really does sting, I would argue.
Especially if it was Leech Seed Protect.
Oh, if it was Protect, you might be back in. I mean, Zebstrika keeps the pressure on, perhaps, but a critical hit maybe didn't matter, maybe mattered, I don't know. The Thunderbolt didn't do a lot, so maybe that would have lit that Mystical Fire, but indeed, he just have a lot better special attack than Zebstrika, so I just don't know. Yeah, that's a weird one. But we see the Sirfetch'd come back. Medi tightens it up, though, making it only a 2-0, which is good for their differential. And they clearly did the wheel thing, right? Unless something had defog. Nothing in defog, right?
Yeah, I don't see any defog. I don't see any...
Medi doesn't even have hazards. Like, their team doesn't have Stealth Rock, Spikes, or any of that, I don't think, which is very unique. So, yeah, I don't think this is... Yeah, that was just not a challenging choice for them, I'd imagine. We see Indeedee come out with its Psychic move. I was really curious to see if Thunderbolt would kill this or not, but yeah, and obviously you go Indeedee, right, because it's Psychic. If that Sirfetch'd was like max speed, maybe it could have gotten an extra kill there, which would have been cool, but sadly it is not. Though I guess it needed the bulk anyway, so it works out fine. Yeah, that was a cool one. That was a fun game. Like you said, there's a lot of cool interactions. The abilities came in a good bit, but there's quite a few Pokemon I guess you can go over now, or I didn't even get a sense of the abilities. Like, what was Runiclus using? I had no idea.
So I have the abilities pulled up. I guess we can go over them now that the match is over.
Yeah, what did Runiclus have on it?
Runiclus kept Magikarp Life Orb.
Makes sense, because that was one of the ones where it didn't really come into effect. Oricorio what was Oricorio packing?
Oricorio was Regenerator, which I really disagree with.
Yeah, I can kind of see that with the U-turns, but it's kind of meh. I more disagree with... Sorry, go on.
It's very frail, and it's not like hitting real hard like Mian Shao, and it's not getting those big physical U-turns to take advantage of regen.
I could see it, but I think what I more disagree with, because I don't know what's that much better for Mienshao for Oricorio that they had. I more just disagree with bringing Oricorio in general. It's not very good here, I would say, and certainly not the Ghost one. I would have gone Rotom Heat in that slot in a heartbeat, or even an Ice Cube could have been somewhat compelling with Weavile being on the board.
I don't know, because Ice Cube doesn't have an attack set until it switches forms, and that's tied to its ability.
Oh, yeah, but you don't have to switch the abilities this week. I would just... Yeah. That's the thing, yeah. I know that might not seem too worth it, but I'm thinking about it. Ice Cube is free against Weavile. Like, unless Weavile comes out with, like, a taunt, which I think Gabe, told me he was specifically bringing for Ice Cube. Like, it's a good bring here. Anyhow. What did... Blossom was Chlorophyll, Sirfetch'd was... Serene Grace for some reason. What did Sirfetch'd have to take advantage of Serene Grace? Poison Jab or something?
Body Slam.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Get a Paralysis in there. Celesteela was Regenerator, I think.
Yeah, it was Regen.
Yeah. Meloetta was the usual. Oh, wait, no. Melo doesn't use an ability to rely for the change. So what did it have? Yeah.
It had Beast Boost, but I'm looking at Weird Spread. It was more of a Spadef bulky build. That
makes sense with those special attackers.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was just a misplayed Meloetta. And then I think I saw Gabe's team more closely, so I know what his stuff is. The Blast is for the Rotom. The Indeedee obviously had Speed Boost. I think we saw all of his abilities actually in the game. Oh, Weavile was Magikarp. I don't think that got shown off. Yeah, that was it, though. Good brings from both sides. Cool use of abilities. I think Gabe got a bit more mileage out of switching around the abilities, ironically, even though his abilities were a little weaker on the whole than Medi's. But Medi certainly also made hay with it. And really just Sirfetch'd was an immaculate prep decision because it's with no... with Psychic Surge gotten rid of on Gabe's side, first impression kills everybody. It kills everybody. And even when Cobalion was alive, Cobalion just hates a fighting move, and nothing else loves a fighting move either, so it's like, Sirfetch'd was just a great lead and great bring here, which was very nice for Medi. Honestly, MVP material.
The only ability to disagree with, on my opinion, for Gabe's team, like I said, definitely I would have gone Psysurge Zam. Just start chucking off those nice high base power expanding forces, get Medi's team.
Yeah, I can see that, but I get the idea of dealing with Cobalion, Because with Kabalion,
Yeah.
you can use the terrain extender, which I believe he did, and then that gives you the mileage on both Indeedee and Alakazam, which is really nice here because those first impressions were so threatening. So I would honestly say it was worth it the way he did it, because I think the first impressions start tearing into him too early. Otherwise,
I think both options were valid, but I personally would have preferred to unzam.
And as much as I agree with the Lightning Rod Blastoise, I guess Sap Sipper was the call here, right? Because then you could have, dealt with Blossom a little better.
Yeah,
But
there are two grass types on that team.
It's one of those things where I think Lightning Rod's the fine choice. It's just like once you see the 6, it's like, oh darn, too bad you didn't have Sap Sipper.
It's just a hindsight thing.
It's just a guessing game, yeah. But yeah, cool game, fun game. Leech Seed Misunfortunate. Don't think it was a decider really, unless it was Protect, Celesteela. Then maybe those Zeep Strickers still might have cleaned it up. A very cool game. It was a fun one. Ken,
that was good.
Say
game.
words. All right, you did it. All right.
Next game.
Yes.